Hi, welcome back. Today I'll be doing a September backyard garden tour. My garden is very young and the entire space is still a work in progress, but I'm really excited to start these video tours to see how the garden progresses over time. I hope you enjoy. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on the back end of my garden. So starting in this corner here, I have a star jasmine that I planted back in June. And that sad agave plant has been in that pot for about 3 years and it only gets watered when it rains, so I need to tend to it a little better. And this entire fence has star jasmine growing on it. In May when it blooms, it's completely covered with white flowers and it smells absolutely amazing. Here is my blood orange tree. It gives us oranges in late December and January, and they are so delicious. We eat them and we make cocktails with them, and we give so many away. We're so lucky to have this tree. I have some bearded iris planted here as well. The ones on the right need to be planted. I don't have drips set up to them and I don't always come back here to water, so they're not doing great. The leaves are flopping over and I'm not sure if that's because they don't get enough sun or water or both. And I have a blank area there that needs to be planted, and next to that I have my beautiful white camellia that blooms in February and March with beautiful big white flowers. Here I have some hydrangeas that I planted around March. They didn't give me very many blooms this year because they were still establishing themselves, but we will see how they do next year. And this one here does get some late afternoon sun, but I'm hoping once it's established, it will stop scorching so badly. There's honey and a really good view of that dense jasmine wall growing along the fence. I just love it. I have 2 Eugenia topiaries on either side of the garage door, and those are in 18-inch terracotta pots. And then here I have some lantana that I dug up from the front yard. I had it planted along the driveway, but it wasn't getting enough sun, so it was getting big, but it wasn't blooming. So I have a purple and a white one, and I'm still deciding on where I want to plant those. And this grass here has been here since we moved in. I think it's a liriope. And then I have more plants that need to be planted in the ground. This one here is a dwarf Shasta daisy. It's called a carpet angel Shasta daisy, and it only gets 4 inches tall and 2 feet wide. I have some lantana cuttings here that I'm not really sure if I'm going to plant. I'll probably just give those away. And here's a Mystic Spires blue salvia that I just planted a few weeks ago. And then I have this verbena here that I need to cut back and get planted into the ground because it is not happy. This is the verbena Tapian pink. This one is a really pretty pinkish lavender, and it's just been in this container for way too long, and I need to get it planted right away. I have a green velvet boxwood ball here that I want to get planted in the ground. I haven't decided where I want to put it yet, and I have 3 more of those boxwoods here that I want to get in the ground. So my husband bought me these Eugenia topiaries from Costco back in May, and they got scorched really badly during the heat wave in July. I cut back everything that had scorched, which is why the ball shapes are a little off. But this is all new growth, and once it cools down, I'll give them another trim. I have them underplanted with Dichondra Emerald Falls and Dichondra Silver Falls. I love how the Silver Falls Dichondra shimmers in the sun. It's just so pretty. I have dwarf Alberta spruce here flanking the walkway. I just finished laying that brick edging earlier this week, and I really love how it turned out. And these boxwoods have been in these pots for a long time. I had these back on the back porch, but I want to put them somewhere in this bare area here. I want to have a small walkway down the middle here leading to the garage door, and I'm really excited to go ahead and get started on that soon. So my neighbor gave me this gorgeous concrete pot here. I love the patina on it and how big and heavy it is. It's a really beautiful pot. And I used to have a bird of paradise planted here, and I think it was just getting too much shade and it wasn't thriving here. So I moved it to my back porch and planted a limelight dracaena here that I used to have inside. This limelight was gorgeous when I first got it over 4 years ago. I'll go ahead and put a photo here of what it looked like when I first got it. It was big, bright, and full, and it did great at my old place indoors, but we just don't get enough light inside of our house for it to thrive, so I moved it out here a few weeks ago. It did get burnt when I first brought it outside, but I'll just cut those leaves off, and I think it'll be okay. I think it'll be much happier getting bright light outside, but I will have to dig it up and bring it in for the winter, but I'll go ahead and bring it back out in the spring. And I have it underplanted here with some spider plants, just regular green ones and variegated ones, and some white begonias. I just love the waxy, glossy leaves of the begonias. So here is a view of the back of my house. And my shade garden there. So let's go back this way here. Again, these are the dwarf Alberta spruce, and they're underplanted with Emerald Falls Dichondra. And actually, now that I'm looking at them, they are looking tired and they need some fertilizer. And I planted one of the dwarf Shasta daisies here. I just wasn't good about watering it when I first got it in, but it doesn't look completely dead, so I think it'll be okay. And I have a peony here that my dad gave me. He just dug out a piece of one of the peonies in their garden. It didn't bloom for me this year, so I'm not sure what color it is, and he doesn't remember. They have some light and dark pink peonies at their house, so I'll be happy with whatever color it is. And this little guy here, I have this one here and another one there. I got them during Christmas time last year at Lowe's when they had all of their conical little topiaries available. And this one just said it was a Christmas pine, and when I googled that, I didn't get much info on it. I'm not even sure what a Christmas pine is, so if anybody knows what this could be, please let me know. I was thinking it could be a blue spruce, but I'm not really sure. I did give it a little trim and you can see some of that new growth coming in there. I had both of these pots up on my front porch and they just weren't getting enough sun. So that's why they aren't looking that great. But they seem to be doing better and bouncing back now that they're getting more light. And then I have my baby jade bonsai here that I'm working on. I haven't done a lot of research on bonsais, so I really don't know what I'm doing, but I just find anything bonsai to be so beautiful, so I wanted to try it. So we'll see how it works out. And I have some verbena here. I just love this bright hot pink. It's one of my favorite colors and I need more of it in the garden. These definitely need to be planted in the ground and they will survive the winter for me, hopefully. And this little plant also needs to be in the ground. It doesn't look very happy in that pot and I'm actually not sure what it's called. I'm going to plant up this new bed I have here. I just need to get more soil to get the level a little more even with the bricks. So this area here is another area that needs to be planted up. I just got it cleaned up. There were a bunch of bearded iris growing here and just a ton of weeds everywhere. And those green lids are my septic tank covers that I'm going to be spray painting brown so that they can blend in. And I'll be planting around them so that they're camouflaged and harder to see. I have a Shasta daisy here that needs to go in the ground and a really sad coral sunset peony that also needs to be planted. It's absolutely beautiful. Here's a picture of it blooming in May. I had planted it all the way on the other side of the bed down there, and it was just getting way too much sun all day long and it wasn't happy. So I dug it out and put a salvia there instead, and now I need to decide where I want this one to go. And just a little pot of ivy here. And this is my beautiful elephant ear. It is absolutely massive. And I have white begonias and wire vine planted in there. I have some white alyssum in there as well, but this elephant ear is huge. I bought it last year at Lowe's. I kept it in a little pot that it came in all summer and fall, and then I finally planted it into this giant terracotta pot that my neighbor gave me. And it's just loving it here. I just can't stop looking at it. It's so beautiful. So this is our arbutus tree. It's also called a madrone. The pollinators absolutely love this tree. And then the trees along the fence are laurels. I love these trees and how much privacy they give us. And the tree in the middle there is a mandarin tree. And those little shrubs planted on each side are Wheeler's dwarf pittosporum. And then along the fence between each laurel is a Texas privet. And I'm hoping those will one day create a hedge on the back there. So next is my shade garden. Besides the trees that are in the backyard, everything here has been planted this year. So this is a very young garden. I have some liriope here. I just dug some chunks out of the one I showed earlier. And I have tons of pine needles because our neighbor behind us has a giant pine tree. I don't know if the liriope here is going to stay, but for now I'm liking the texture that it brings to this area. Back here we have a baby debutante camellia. Hopefully it'll give me flowers next year, and the flowers on this one are a light pale pink. I have some astilbe growing here. I bought these as bare roots, and I think I planted these in February or March. I bought two different kinds. I don't know which ones I planted where, but if I find a picture of what variety they are, I'll put it on the screen. I know that they are pink and lavender flowers. And my Boston ferns are looking beautiful. This isn't where I initially wanted to put them, but they are loving it under the tree getting dappled light. I have 3 hydrangeas planted in the back along the fence, and these are white hydrangea microphyllus. I have some hostas here. This one here is a Patriot hosta. And I have some winter gem boxwoods that I want to grow into balls. That bright green hosta in the middle there is a Sum and Substance hosta. And I have some lime bricky heucheras and white begonias here. I have some white begonias in pots and scattered all along the border here. Here is a foxtail fern. Those are one of my favorite plants. These ones are small. I have some giant ones in my front yard. And this here is a June spirit hosta. There's some more astilbe. And that there is a Milky Way aspidistra, or cast iron plant. I had this one inside for years and it was just barely surviving. So I brought it outside and it's already looking so much better. That there is a sword fern and my beautiful Boston fern. And that down there is one of the 3 white hydrangeas that I planted. This one was not doing great when I brought it home. I think it had been overwatered because it was really floppy and I didn't think it would survive, but it's given me some new growth. This beautiful fern here, I'm not sure what the name of this one is, so if anyone knows the name, please let me know. This big hosta here is a Komodo dragon hosta, and those can get up to 7 feet wide. And here are more lime ricky heucheras and begonias and some winter gems. That little hosta there is an Olive Bailey Langdon hosta, and this one came in a bare root 3-pack. I have the other 2 that didn't come up somewhere else in the garden. Another hydrangea there. And a foxtail fern. Another foxtail fern. This here is a June hosta. And here is a boxwood topiary and some dichondra that I still have in 6 packs. I love this view here of the shade garden. It's only been a few months, but I'm loving how it's coming together. As you can tell, I love green and different foliage textures, but I do want to add some purple foliage and blue, and maybe some pale pink blooms. I think that'll really bring it all together. Our grass got absolutely destroyed by gophers this summer. I have a gopher spike in the shade garden, so luckily that hasn't been touched, but our grass definitely was. I think we're going to end up adding a lot more gopher spikes back here. And now to the back patio. So I have a lemon cypress tree here. It's been in this pot since Christmas last year. And this is my lime tree. We have harvested so many limes from this tree this year. I want to get another lime tree to put somewhere because we use limes so much, and I'm just so happy with how abundant this one has been this year. We moved it to this spot about 3 years ago. This right here is a Meyer lemon tree that we planted in that pot over the winter. I just have some little things planted in pots on the table here. I have burro's tail propagating, some Scotch moss, and I think this here is a string of bananas. I have a purple lantana that has been in that pot for years, and a rosemary topiary that I got during Christmas time. I just love that smell. And my collection of geraniums. I have so many different shades of pink and some white ones in there, and I haven't fertilized them, so they're not blooming right now. And here is my Japanese maple with 3 tassel ferns planted under it. The Japanese maple got scorched really bad during the heat wave that we had in July, and I think the drip down there is clogged and needs to be replaced. So I don't think it's getting enough water. I also feel like it might be getting too much sun, so I don't know. We'll redo the drip and we'll see what happens next year. And another jasmine wall over here. I planted the 2 jasmine plants on the left this summer, so hopefully the jasmine completely covers the fence in a couple years. I have a little pot here planted with some purple heart and some Angelina sedum. and an aloe vera plant sticking out in the back there. And this here is a citronella geranium. And another type of aloe next to it there. This is a split leaf philodendron. It's actually not a philodendron. I'll put the botanical name below. But I have this one planted up with some creeping jenny. Some pink begonias, jades, and boxwoods here, and a beautiful Dieffenbachia that I brought out for the summer. And this is another one of my favorite plants. This is a Fatsia japonica, or also called a Japanese Aralia. And another Dieffenbachia that I brought outside. And this Monstera lives outside full time now. It survived last winter outdoors in that spot, and it's just loving it there. And I have a window box there that's sitting on a little table that I made for it. And I just have a bunch of random things planted in there. I have a ton of purple heart and asparagus fern. I think I have some ivy in there, some baby hostas and heucheras, and I need to get that cleaned up and looking fresh again. And I have some more aloe and citronella, my bird of paradise, some more boxwoods. This boxwood here is a bonsai that I'm attempting. And I have some wire vine down there. And that guy there is a Texas privet. And there I have another Texas privet on the right, some rosemary and a pink geranium. And Archer. Oh, and then I have a little bowl with succulents in here. So I'm going to wrap this up by walking around a bit to give you different views of the back patio here. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and if you have any comments or questions, please let me know. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.